Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday, March 26th, 2023. I'm Teri Hunter, and I'm here with your weekly astrology readings. This is where I do angel readings. I call them angel readings, but what I do is I use a combination of two decks for each sign to get the angel's advice for traversing the upcoming week's transits. And it's very interesting to me because a lot of astrologers have been talking about the month of March being extremely pivotal, with Saturn moving into Pisces and Pluto moving into Aquarius. And while all of that is very true, I found this to be a very interesting week and rather well, I shouldn't say weak, but I found this to be a very interesting energy because I have had an unusual sense of calm. Rather than feeling concerned about this, I feel a sense of comfort in it. Good morning, CC Pups. Good morning, Small Wildflowers. Good morning, Catherine. So for the purposes of clarity, these weekly forecasts are based on whole sign Western astrology. So when I refer to Aries, I'm referring to Aries rising. I think the rising and the moon are the really very pivotal in being able to get a glimpse into what's coming up, because the humans manifest on their emotional body. Very few people, if any, are not able to do that. So I believe that the rising, moon, then sun, and if you have a stellium of planets, which is 3 or more planets in any one sign or house, this to me indicates an intention that the soul wants to experience something in this lifetime and have opportunities along that path. So I think that's important. All right. Good morning, Catherine. Good morning, Posted Up. It's good to see you here. We are now in Aries season. We have officially started the Zodiac New Year. We are going to go into eclipse season in April. I will be posting next week. This week I'll be shooting the April monthlies and I'll be posting them. And I just want to let you know, if you haven't seen them, I have created Saturn and Pluto transit videos for each rising sign, what house it will be in and how it will affect you over the spring time. So that takes us like almost to June. So I think that you'll enjoy those videos if you want to check those out. So this week, what I thought was most interesting is really the cluster of planets that are in the Aries and Taurus energy. Yes, we have Saturn over there in Pisces and Mars in Cancer, but there is a concentration of planets in the first house and the second house, which I thought was interesting because the first house is how we discover the self as we're born. It represents our beginning movements, how we discover our head. It's that really strong, powerful, enthusiastic Aries energy. We've got the sun at 5 degrees as of today. We've got Mercury at 15 degrees, conjunct Chiron at 15 degrees, and Jupiter at 17 degrees. This to me is just so incredibly powerful because the sun at 5 degrees, and that moves quickly, is at the Leo degree though. And then Mercury and Chiron conjunct is at the Gemini degree. So this is a theme of looking at how are we thinking? How are we perceiving things? How are we holding on to our story, to what has happened to us in this lifetime? Because, while many times we may be justified in the hurts that we feel, do they really move our story forward when we hang on to them? Because that's what Jupiter at 17 degrees offers. At the 17th degree, it's the Leo degree. Here we go. Sun at the Leo degree, Jupiter at the Leo degree. Expand how you see yourself and want to let yourself birth something new out into the world. This is an opportunity with Mercury representing the monkey mind, Jupiter representing the expansive, broader look at the human experience. This is an opportunity to really turn that wound into the gift that Chiron represents. And Aries is the pioneer, the brave one that's willing to say, you know what? I know that I'm full of piss and vinegar sometimes. I know that I'm, represent anger in the Zodiac, but is this anger serving to fuel my passion, or is it tethering me and holding me back? Because we also have Venus and Uranus in Taurus, and the North Node. We know the North and South Node have been there for a while, but it's pivotal to me because the North Node and South Node have been hanging out at the 4th degree. These patterns, that the way they pop into my head blows my mind, because here we've had a series of full moons bringing the culmination, the illumination of something at the 16th degree, which is the Cancer degree. Here we see the North Node and South Node hanging out for quite some time at the 4th degree. I noticed the nodes go retrograde. Now, I know this sounds weird to say because I didn't hear a lot of astrologers talk about this, but because of this last transit and the South Node being in Scorpio, it was hovering over my Mercury at 13 degrees forever. And I kept saying, why isn't it moving forward? What's going on? Like, move on, buddy, move on. And then I started to notice that every month the nodes retrograde for a period of time and they hover. So the reason I bring this up is because that 4th degree, and Uranus is at the 16th degree, which is the Cancerian degree. Are we willing to liberate ourselves in a way that isn't determining our future based on our past? Taurus rules our history. Right now we have Venus at 11 degrees. So to me, this is the master number of thought. And the whole theme since we've moved into the 2020s for me has been about being more aware if we're being discerning in our thought. Is the information that we're receiving and the instruction and the authority and the people that govern us, are we being discerning in how we perceive that? And I believe that we are starting to realize that maybe we have not been as discerning as we can be, that we're more powerful. And when we start to hone in our thoughts and be more of honoring our emotional body as a measurement of whether we're aligned to our happiness, because this idea of the cluster of planets in Aries and Taurus at this time of the year makes me feel as if there's a real opportunity to assert myself and then integrate my history and start to really think about, am I nurturing my own self-worth, my own talents, my own voice? Venus is in the house of her rulership in Taurus, and she's wanting to stretch her wings and feel herself, create beauty and comfort and luxury and eat good food and bask in it. I have to tell you, the other day I really only eat once a day. I have my homemade mocha now that I've given up the Starbucks. And by the time my day rolls on, I end up not eating until later in the day, and then I just have one big meal. And I made myself a filet the other day, and it was so delicious. My Taurus moon was basking in how good that food was. And I remember thinking to myself, this is a little extravagant. And I thought, you know what? If this brings me this much joy, and if I feel so proud of how I made this steak, then you know what? The universe is going to support me eating more steak. So that's where I'm going with this, because we also have Mars in a trine with Saturn. Now, I really think that Mars and Saturn are more cooperative than most people give them credit for. I mean, I think of Saturn as like, the military general or the military, sergeant that's above you, and Mars sort of being the young buck that, wants to go in and take care of the bad guy and make things happen. And together, the enthusiasm of Mars and the wisdom of Saturn come together to create beautiful things. And this trine today with Mars in Cancer, do we see a theme going on here? Cancer degree here, full moons at a Cancer degree, illuminating us as to what's been holding us back, where we've tethered ourselves to a version of ourselves that may just be expired, doesn't count anymore, or it's not really relevant. I'm an Aries rising and I'm a Taurus moon. I've said this already. I can be very stubborn. I can remember the hurts and the pains, but I'm not the child I was at 20 something where I was just willing to spew my anger and didn't care how it landed on others. I'm a whole different version of that same energy. So this is what I'm offering you, because Pluto in Aquarius gives us an opportunity to liberate ourselves. We go to the ruler of Aquarius. That is Uranus. Uranus is in a conversation with Venus, and Venus is going to move forward this week, get closer and closer to that opportunity to be a little rebellious and to say, you know what? It's about me. It's about my talents. It's about my joy. And I deserve it. You see how I claimed myself? And then at the end of the week, because to me, the transits that are going on feel a lot as if we've already talked a lot about the big basics. So this is sort of a fine tuning this week, because by the 30th, Venus is in an exact conjunction with Taurus, and Mars is in an exact trine with Saturn. This is about being brave to really say, does my history determine who I am today, or am I a new version of myself? And am I going to give myself permission to be that new version? Because Venus and Uranus are conjunct at 16 degrees. The Cancer degree. How do I nurture myself? How do I honor my inner knowing? How do I play to the idea that if I'm creating a happy, healthy life for myself, that I'm actually helping create a happy, healthy life for everyone else around me? And then Mars in the exact trine to Saturn, Mars in Cancer, Saturn in Pisces, Cancer again, self-care, Pisces, history. I always think when I look at the 12th house that this is the house of my past lives, the house where I throughout this lifetime, I've experienced other things, and I'm kind of taking those experiences and as I leave the physical, this is the launching pad for the next incarnation. So here in this trine is such a beautiful energy to dig deep into what is important to me, and not only recognize how I'm showing up, because when we're showing up in frustration, or when we're showing up in a more challenging energy, there's a it's like a boomerang kind of weird thing. It almost like compiles on itself. So when we're more willing to go, what is this challenge? What is this moment in time offering me? Because if you have the wherewithal to say, you know what, maybe I was that person in a previous incarnation in this chapter, in this life, but maybe, and I could pull that person out, but am I living there now? Am I really that fearful? Am I really that disempowered? Is my body really that much falling apart? Can I contribute to the higher vibrations of who and what I am? Lately, since I went to the dentist, you guys that have been around know I had that tooth extracted. I've just, for some reason, been into making a pineapple, cayenne pepper, ginger shot. I'm making them at home. They're quite tasty. And just that little, I can feel my body responding to it. Do I enjoy my mocha a few hours prior to that shot? Yes. Is this a little bit maybe challenging for my body? So what I'm doing is I'm not villainizing myself. I'm like, I like my mocha and I'm not doing any of my old bad habits. So yay. And then I enjoy my shot. And I'm like, I figure there's balance in there. That's what I'm stretching for. Welcome, Adriana Paul. Welcome to the room. And did I say hi to Dusk? Good morning, Dusk. Good to see you. I said hi to Peta. I'm sorry, posted up. And hi, Gita. Oh, my goodness. All right. So I got to tell you, Lucky had an amazing birthday last week, and we've had a really good week. We tried having him go off the goat's milk, and he's had another little outbreak on his paws. So he's in the cone and he's having a moment under the desk. So anyway. Oh, good, Adriana Paul. I want to offer this, because these acts of self-love, they're really not about being corny, and it's not necessarily about trying to force something, as much as it's almost like looking at adopting a new lifestyle. If I really want good things to happen to me, is my mind open and willing to receive those good things, or am I still I don't want to say overly, but I am going to say it, overly focused on the problem? And that was the thing that was so great about this last week, is that I really feel like, because 2022 worked me over. I got to tell you, a lot of loss, a lot of disruption, a lot of unexpected things happening. At the same time, every time I kept saying, how is this going to serve my highest and greatest good? Where have I been holding myself small inadvertently? And now I'm feeling free of that. I'm feeling like, okay, I have that piece of information, and now I can operate from a different perspective. Okay. All right. Lucky is a little sensitive soul. He has, allergies all over the place. And we have been not able to take our big long walk down to Main Beach because Caltrans is tearing up the highway in such an incredible way. And then it's been raining. And so I inadvertently took him off the goat's milk. And I think that was my thing. I should just need to keep him on the goat's milk because it keeps the good stuff in his system, whatever that is. All right. On to our readings. Good morning, Stephen. Good to see you here. I hope you had a good birthday. I think it was your birthday, wasn't it? I think you did. You're my little Pisces guy. Okay, so let's go on. Did I say good morning to Katerina? I hope I did. All right. Aries, welcome. Happy birthday. Your tarot card for this week is perfectly aligned to you. It is the Ace of Wands. It's about passion. It's about new ideas. It's about feeling energized, and nothing is manifested yet. This is all just an infusion of energy. So here we see the sun at the Leo degree. We see Chiron and Jupiter. I'm sorry, Chiron and Mercury giving me an opportunity to really transform that wound into the gift, to start to realize that maybe that wound is what propelled me into this dynamic. And now I can honor it and I can praise it and I can thank it. And I can be so glad I never have to go through it again, because that Jupiter is going to expand this wanting and this drive for you to experience yourself in a whole new way. So I'm excited for that because I'm an Aries rising. Oh my goodness, that was a month ago. I'm sorry, Stephen. Well, I hope you enjoyed the wedding. That flight into Denver is always a little scary, I think. You know, there's kind of this weird air pocket that you drop down, and I also can't breathe in Denver. I've been living at sea level for so long that if oh, you drove. Wow. Okay, so you acclimated on your way up the hills. That's a big drive. Okay, Aries, let's see how the Ace of Wands is being reflected in your experience this week. Our first card is the Bee. The second is the King. The third is the Frog. And the final is Love. Well, this looks fun. Post up Aries rising sun and stellium. Wow, okay. So you are a brave, pioneering, passionate energy. And this is so exciting right now. Oh my God. Mr. Toad's wild ride. Okay, Aries, the Bee card is being joined by Archangel Michael. The King is being joined by Grace and Antoinette. The Frog is being joined by Maya. And the Love card is being joined by Serafina. I want to offer it this way because when I see the Ace of Wands, again, this is a card which is the infusion of the energy. It's very much almost like a 0 degree when you change a sign. There's this, you could find yourself being really just like popping up with ideas, so much so that it almost feels like your brain can't process it fast enough. I recently bought some sort of app to help me grow my channel, and it's called TubeBuddy. And I find myself up till midnight, getting down the rabbit's hole of all these, SEO, blah, blah, blah. Because what I'm trying to say is now is an opportunity, I think, for my Aries to start to really feel like luck is on your side, and then to be a little bit more courageous about starting to take the steps that will start to foster this new passion and creativity. So it may not be about a launch per se, or trying to implement in the 3D world as much as it's building the template, the structure, the blueprint for it. Because right now, there's an interesting dynamic of the King, and this is resonating to me more in like a just energy and having compassion for the process of what you may be on a new phase of learning. You guys have been watching me for a while, ever since I was on the other channel, and I've been limping along because I've resisted all of the learning. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. This is too much for me. And now I'm kind of embracing it because the Frog, again, right now, it feels like it's releasing anything in your brain that might be stopping you, but it also feels like it's giving you good good luck as you're willing to learn and have patience with yourself as you do that. Aries is not known for patience. And frankly, sometimes they're not known for follow through because they get super excited about an idea, they get down the road, obstacle shows up, and then they just choose a new path. But here, I think through your tenacity, through totally owning something that you want to grow, because this is what I discovered. 2022 for me was about figuring out another layer of where my fears were, where I felt like I was holding myself back, but I didn't know how I was holding myself back because I felt like I was being so bold, but I wasn't really being bold. I was only being bold in certain areas. So this was really powerful for me as I realized this. I had new ideas that spawned new passions, that I had to be courageous jumping off the ledge of this rabbit hole, and then knowing and having compassion for not having done this 2-3 years ago, because there were other things that I was learning, not just about the technology, but about my own emotional body. And as a result, I'm feeling much more aligned these days, and there isn't even anything in the outside world to indicate that I should feel as excited as I am. So I think this is important for Aries, to allow yourself this week with this cluster of planets, and it's your birthday month. You could be feeling like, wow, I'm just so ready to burst. And yet at the same time, that bursting, Mars making that trine to Saturn, I feel like it's about, really kind of taking your time to make a plan. And even if the plan isn't perfect, it's giving you some sort of bullet points to get the story forward. When I used to do my monthlies, I used to try to do them off the cuff of my head, and I would zigzag all over the place. So now I write notes so that I go through it more succinctly. That's what I think, because I think there's going to be you're going to be able to capitalize on this, whatever this new spark of energy is, and be really fun. That's great, Stephen. Good to hear it. I've had a lot of new astrology clients myself, which I'm very excited about as well. I like that posted up. Okay, let's go on to our Tauruses. Rising moon, sun, and stelliums. And I cannot help but encourage Taurus to be prepared, and in an excited way, because when Jupiter moves into your sign, Venus will have been there. She's there right now. I just feel like the next year and a half, everything you have garnished right now, everything that you've learned about yourself, everywhere maybe Taurus has identified where they've been a little bit stubborn. It's like, this is another thing about my moon, because once I get familiar with something, I don't want to change. And I know this about me. And so it really takes me, because I don't have anyone to look to. I don't have a kid that knows technology. I don't have a husband that knows technology. I don't even have friends that know technology. They're as clueless as I am. So when all this happens, I really have to kind of put myself in an energy of saying, am I going to let this, this trepidation about moving into a new place hold me back? All right, here we go. Okay, Taurus, this is the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands has two different meanings. Number one, it means information is coming in. Number two, it could bring a conclusion of something. We also see that these wands seem to be heading towards the earth. There is no live character in this. Meaning there's nothing walking on legs in this picture. And there's a few very those are poignant things when you notice this in the tarot, the way that it's designed. Because what I think for Taurus is that with Venus and Uranus meeting this week, this could bring a piece of information that is completely unexpected, that supports and moves your talents forward. So let's imagine that you're a person who sings, for a living. You sing on TikTok, you sing on YouTube, you decide you want to, I'm always using The Voice and using American Idol as examples, and you decide you're finally going to submit yourself over the internet to see if the producers even like what you do. And they like you and they call you back. And you're like, oh my God, this is something that could very much happen. But part of it is also you being willing to tee it up, and in some ways being a little more flexible about new things coming into your life, or the ending of some things, or how you're processing information. Let's see what the angels have to say. So while I shuffle, I'm going to tell you, so I'm a Taurus moon. And about a month ago, somebody reached out to me and wanted me to do something on their television, their live show on demand. And now I've gotten a couple of these, and they always kind of feel a little funky to me. But this one, intuitively, I felt like I should respond. And then I felt synergy. And I was even brave enough to ask this person for their astrological information so I could look at their chart. And I liked what I saw. So I shot this show Friday evening, and it's going to air sometime next week. But the point I'm trying to make is that opportunities may come to you out of nowhere, Uranus. And a big part of it is Taurus allowing an intuitive energy to nudge you forward. I almost kind of wonder if this is not in some ways representing the ending of needing to see something too practically and being more willing to get information from spirit. This kind of whiteness in the middle feels as if this could be information from spirit that brings you to a conclusion. All right. Our first angel is Azure. Your desired outcome will happen in the near future. Have faith. Sonia, your team is watching over you. Desiree is saying that conditions at some point might not have been favorable. And then we have Grace and Antoinette. You know, when we manifest things, the human is trained to think, you know, you get an idea and then you effort towards that idea. You work hard, you market, you brand, you stay up all night looking at weird stuff, keywords, what they mean. But at the same time, all those actions are really just very human. When you're connected to spirit and spirit starts to align people and places, then these are the things that are really going to move your story forward, and all the other actions will add to it. So Azure is saying your desired outcome will happen in the near future. Are you focused on that? Because the focus card came up. Sonia is talking about your perception. And this is so interesting because information is going to come from spirit. I absolutely believe that for Taurus. And I want to offer this to you. When information comes from spirit, it does not look like a burning bush that's calling you into, like Moses. It is really going to be something super subtle, something that you may not be like, was that a sign? And if you're unsure, ask spirit. If I need another sign, I need some sort of confirmation that this is a direction. Because I think what they were telling you is up until now, the conditions weren't favorable, because spirit is also, they can bring you an opportunity and you don't take it because you're scared. Because that's what this could be. My opportunity or my obstacle is to be aware of my perception. Spirit is helping me align to my greatness. And up until now, conditions may not have been favorable because, Taurus, you've been really going between your head and your heart. And your heart, wanting something but not being able to see how to get there. Here's Excalibur in the middle holding your truth. My Taurus moon has been fighting with myself almost this last 3 years between my what I think is a little bit of a rogue view of astrology, and then wanting to be like everybody else who's being successful, who I look at and I say, they have the subscribers, they have the numbers, I need to be like them. And I haven't garnished that much success trying to be like them. So maybe part of this, Taurus, is you marrying yourself to you and being like, you know what, when I focus on what's really true to me, then I start to be aware that I'm aligned to spirit. And up until now, I might have been too scared. That's one of the things about Taurus. You rule self-worth. So Grace and Antoinette is about compassion, and she's being joined by the butterfly as you go from this phase of being aware of yourself and then having self-compassion and grace for yourself as you continue to, almost bullishly move yourself forward and pace yourself. I think there's going to be a lot of illuminations coming up, like, and not illuminations about what's happening outside, but how we have been in some ways processing the information that's coming through. And I think it's actually going to be a fear buster. So we'll start to recognize that we've been feeling a little bit of fear, and then we're going to be like, okay, how can I face this and move forward? All right. Let's go on to our Geminis, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Oh, well, I think that could be Uranus starting her conversation with Venus. I shouldn't say her. I think Uranus is gender neutral, but I also think that there's things that are changing, and meaning around us, and I think that there's this inner knowing, and yet we have no precedent for it. So we're kind of sitting in this place of unknowing, and the human is trained to be nervous when they don't know what's going on. All right, oh my goodness, Gemini, look at this. You pulled your own card, the Lovers. And now I want to offer this. We see the man and the woman, and they're vulnerable in their nakedness. We see Archangel Gabriel above them. This represents Gemini because it represents the twins. It represents choice. So there is a choice. And I want to offer this too, because when you look at Archangel Gabriel at the top of this, very calm, holding space as you sit vulnerable and potentially climbing a mountain, trying to get to your dreams, Gemini. Let's look and see, because your ruling planet right now is conjunct Chiron. So there could be this loop of, I can't help but go back to these experiences. I used to be in the laundry room all the time and just like arguing with people in my head. You did this to me, you did that to me. And it was one day after listening to Eckhart Tolle and the Power of Now that I'm sitting here ruining my own life. I'm sitting here in my head fighting with these people that, sure, yeah, they did me wrong, but they're not here right now. And nothing's changing through this conversation. And as my work has evolved, and as my experiences have confirmed, I am more and more convinced about the way that I think and what that does and how it creates my experience. So having Mars in Gemini, and it just left, you're just getting that respite. This has been about really thinking about, are you brave in your thought? Are you brave in thinking that you're great? Are you brave in thinking you deserve more? Are you brave in opening up to letting the universe bring you things that you can't imagine? Well, let's see. Because technically Taurus is your 12th house. So Uranus could be liberating you from things you can't see that are within your own, personal makeup that have inadvertently been blocking you. That's been the greatest gift that I have had in the disruption of the last year, is that I was so excited about being on the other channel. I thought it was going to offer me so much exposure. People would, gravitate towards me. And what I did was I was actually holding myself small to the owner of that channel. And I never did experience any, I experienced growth, but not in the way that I had perceived it to be. Yes, exactly, Stephen. That's exactly what we were talking about. And it's at the Gemini degree. Okay, so here we go. The Lovers is being joined by the Patience card. Then we have Serena, which is all about money. Then we have Archangel Raphael, an epiphany is coming. And there's Teresa, all about letting worry sit aside. Worry is a form of prayer that doesn't serve you. Puts your attention in the very experience you don't want to have. All right, Patience is being joined by the Movement card. All right, Gemini, something's happening. Serena is being joined by the Dog. Ooh. Archangel Raphael is being joined by the Joy card. And the High Priestess is joining Teresa. Okay. I think something's going on. I've been feeling this for a while and talking about Gemini. Something's changing in your career sector, or at least how you get resources and money. Because I've been feeling that when Saturn moved into your 10th house, there was something about that dynamic that was going to put structure in a way that was going to feel more aligned to who and what you have evolved into. So the patience card is not about holding your breath. It's about observing. It's about studying and taking time to really see the movement that you've been making. Because from my personal point of view, the movement would not be action as much. It would be the awareness of where your mind goes, how you think, and where you tend to default to, because everybody has an imprint on their brain. That brain is a muscle. And while it appears that we have conscious thought, there is a good portion of this that runs all by itself. Because I think what Serena is saying is that you have not been serene. And Mars running through your first house, hey, of course, we would think that could be a little disruptive. But now I think it's about loyalty to your serenity, to your peace of mind, so that spirit can bring ideas, can bring situations and people in that will move your story forward. Because I also think that Gemini on some level has a very good reputation for however they show up in their career sector. And you get to pay attention to that instead of focusing in on the worry. Because Archangel Raphael, when I saw the joy card, I didn't think it was about running around happy. It made me feel as if within your everyday world, there's a lot of people that actually appreciate what you bring to the table. And when you start to focus in on that, it'll pop something. All morning long, I've been hearing a Seahawk. And a Seahawk is the only bird of prey that traverses the air element and goes into the water. It only eats fish. I think and they mate for life. They have a boy and a girl Seahawk, and I think the couple's talking to each other about breakfast. And I want to offer that to you because it's a totem. So as you pay attention and you're able to go up and see how you're thinking without judgment, then you can dive down into your emotional body and see if those thoughts serve you. Because here, Teresa is about worry. And it's about worrying about other people. How will they respond? Da, 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 da. And it could be that you have responsibilities to other people. And then there's the high priestess that offers an opportunity to dig deeper into, and I want to use the word discernment, because I feel like when you take care of your needs, when you take care of what truly you want in the form of both resources in the material world, but also time to enjoy those resources, then I think that universe is opening something up for you, and there's going to be opportunities presented to you. And I'm going to go out on a limb because I feel like I'm talking to one person, but this is for all Geminis. So Gemini rising, I think somebody is going to come from your past, and they're going to bring up either an opportunity, an idea. They're going to spark something in your head. This may happen this next month in April when we experience our Mercury retrograde. I'm going to do a separate video on that, but I'll talk about that later, because I really got this suspicious feeling like, and I know there's so many of you out there that are Geminis, but there's something shifting for you that's going to give you an opportunity, because you are one of the most social signs, and because you're the dispenser of information around the zodiac, that when you have this experience, you are going to actually share it with other people. That's going to be an upliftment for others. So please dig into that inner knowing. Try to calm your mind down while spirit gives you an opportunity to observe new things so that you can anchor them into who and what you are, and they'll feel stronger, and that way they'll align more succinctly. Okay. Oh, good, Catherine. Good. I really do feel like there's something very personal going on with Gemini right now. And even though there could be, 3/4 of you could be Gemini out there, I still think it's the same thing. Okay. We are going on to our Cancers. All righty. Our card is the 9 of Wands. And this card is, it seems pretty clear. You can feel the energy. This guy does not trust things. This guy is looking out for the bad guy. He's been wounded. He's not going to be wounded again. And yet sometimes I don't think he pays much attention to how strong the wands are behind him, how much growth is at the top of those wands. So let's see if for some reason, Cancer, that you are focusing in on a wound of some kind rather than, oh, yes, they have, with Pluto opposing them. Oh, yeah. But, Pluto's really your friend because it's digging deep into where you may have been holding yourself small in a situation. Well, Rajwinder, welcome to the room. I don't know what HLO means. Happy something, happy love, all of you. I don't know what that means. Hi, Sandy. All right. Yeah, no, it's not easy. The Pluto energy is, the first word you think of is intense, right? But I also think it's intense because it goes completely against the human structure. If you think about what Pluto represents in the way of intimacy and sex, it's that raw kind of, real Kama Sutra sort of interchange between two humans. So everything that Pluto touches is at a very deep and sort of a soul level. What is your deepest truth that you don't tell others? And that's why it can feel jarring. So when we're going through a wound, if Cancer has been overgiving to others or putting other people as a priority, you may be wounded from their lack of appreciation, which is not really meant to hurt you, but meant to, in many ways, offer you an opportunity to move forward towards your goals and what makes you happy. So here we go. Our first angel for Cancer, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums is Astera. Reach for the stars with your dreams and desires. We have Grace and Antoinette representing compassion. We have Chantal representing love. And then we have the Patience card again. All right. I think I have a Cancer moon right now in my progress chart, Mikey. All right, here we go. Cancer, Astera is being joined by the partnership card. Grace and Antoinette is being joined by the fear card. Chantal is being joined by the king. And Patience is being joined by the hawk. Okay, this is where I'm going with this for my Cancers, because I could say this is about intimate love, but I want to put it with people that you love, your friends, your children, your spouse, your mom, your dad, the people in your world that are important to you. Because Astera is saying to reach for the stars with your dreams and desires and do not compromise. And there's the partnership card. I want to offer it this way because I do not think it's just about one person. I think it's about an exchange of energy. And, I have a little trepidation sometimes with my Cancers and my Pisces about overgiving. And when they give, they're giving because they love the other person, but they're also wanting something back. I want to feel loved back. I want to feel the depth of this, the love I'm giving you. I want to feel it back. And this is where there could potentially be a wound, because sometimes when we love so richly to another, they sometimes just kind of take that on and take it and take it in and take it in. And they're like, oh, I feel so good. But it never occurs to them to give back, especially if it's your children or if it's a spouse or if it's your parents. So, and I'm not trying to diss the other side. It's just kind of a pattern we can get into, because I think this is about, reaching for the stars in your partnerships is not about them. It's about you and what you need. Because I think that you have fears that if you have too many needs, they won't be met, and then you'll be left behind, or you'll feel bad, or you'll feel less than. Because here, Grace and Antoinette is saying, have compassion for your own fears, because I want to say this: fear is the place where exhilaration, achievement, feeling like the boss in your own life, your tail starts to wag like crazy when you overcome, when you triumph over a fear. So here now is Chantal and the king. Now, this could very well represent a partner, but it also represents justice and fairness in loving relationships. And this is in the angel's advice. So I don't think it's about a person necessarily being a king or another human as much as it's about being fair and just in love. And if you're being fair and just, you'll have more compassion for your fears, because patience is, again, about studying, observing my own energy, and rising above a situation so I can see the signs and the omens. If indeed you are Cancer, and maybe you are of those, very passionate years, and you're wanting a partner, and inadvertently you're dumbing your needs down, or you're over, you're ignoring it. I was once in a relationship with somebody, and I was lying to myself the whole time. And I kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller in my wants and needs in that relationship, because that person's seemed to provide financial security. And I, at that moment, was afraid of my own ability to do that for myself. And I was dumbing down. Somewhere you've been wounded, you've been hurt, you've been maybe even taken advantage of. You don't want that to happen again, but we don't want to focus on that. We want to focus on the best possible dynamic in a relationship. We want to have compassion for our fears, not try to avoid them, because if we avoid them, we're putting in a resistant energy, because Spirit is telling you it is just and fair for you to feel a revival in love, to feel like a valuable and cherished energy in someone's life. And now it's your job to do that for yourself. Meaning, cherish yourself. Be nice to yourself. Be nice to yourself when you're in a bad mood. You're entitled. Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm in love. I live in caregiver for 3. You're a live-in caregiver for 3 different people with dementia. Oh my goodness, Sandy, you are a saint. I used to work in a chiropractic office with a gal whose mom had dementia. They came in about once a week. The patience of this daughter, because her mom, she couldn't help it. It's just not their fault. But boy, for those that are aware, it's so challenging. The same question, the same conversation over and over again. So it's really, Sandy, it's not, wow, what a job. Not easy. We'll also be sending all of you and your family members, tons of love. Okay, here we go. For our Leos, this is one of the most interesting cards in the tarot deck. It's the Tower. Now, the Tower, you can see this couple. Unexpected change, lightning strikes. It's very Uranian to me. And it reduces down to a 16. We will experience on April 5th our last 16-degree full moon in Libra. It will be the 7th of 7 full moons at 16 degrees. Leo, you also have, especially if you're an early Leo, you're starting to feel Pluto's opposition to your house. So I think that this is not negative. This is the other thing I want to tell y'all. I've been single for a long time. And every time I got like a girlfriend to hang out with, and was having fun, and I'm like, oh, I finally have a ride or die, I would do their readings and they would get the tarot or the Tower. And then the next thing you know, they would meet somebody and they would be off on a whole romantic thing, and I would lose my ride or die. So I don't ever think of the Tower as negative. I think of it as unexpected change that may throw me off at first, but it has the ability to bring a lot of beautiful things coming forward. So welcome, 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 everybody. If I didn't say hi, Mikey, hi, good to see you. I said hi to you. Okay. All right, here we go. Leo, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Caressa. The second is Seraphina. The third is Aurora. And the final is Astera. I just off the top of my head, as I'm shuffling, I'm thinking, well, Saturn's moved into your 8th house, okay, Pisces. And as such, that is, new structures in transformation with your creativity. Your creativity. Pisces is all creative, and so is Leo. Caressa is being joined by the Truth card. Seraphina's being joined by the Fear card. Aurora's being joined by the Swan. And Astera's being joined by the Love card. I want to offer this. Welcome, Prudence. I love that name. Makes me want to sing a song. I want to offer this. I am completely 100% convinced that as we move forward, humanity is going to individualize their work, meaning we're going to see more people benefiting from producing content on the internet and various, levels of that. So the jobs where we have gone to, let's say large structures and plugged ourselves in, they will be available. But a large portion of humanity will want to enjoy the freedom of their own self-expression. So this is where I'm going. Exactly, Jenny G. You got me. You got me. This is the end of the life cycle, and new happiness awaits you because Pluto is going to bring a deeper truth to you. And while it may come in the form of an opposition, which is something outside of yourself, creating a tension, creating a fork in the road, creating a brick wall. But how high is the brick wall? Because if for some reason you have fear about how your family will respond to you, if you're concerned, and this could be your friend, family, your group, how others will respond to you, I feel like, while it's a very natural concern, we are at a place where we have evolved to an opportunity where those that think like us will gather together, and they'll be drawn to us. So I really want to encourage my Leos not just to think about how the audience will respond to you, but how do you respond to your own individual creativity? Are you willing? Because this is what I want to say for me, which has been the greatest gift of this last month or two. When I did the Saturn Pluto videos for everyone, I was somehow very excited, and I felt like I was like really intentional. I wanted them to be super personal. I wanted you to be able to look at them and see what was going to happen when Saturn went into your house of Pisces and da 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 da. I committed myself to expressing the truth of how I view astrology, which is a little bit different than everyone else. People responded to it in such a way that I was so excited. It was squelching my fears. I was thinking, oh gosh, I've been holding back and all these people are loving this, because that's what's going on for you, Leo. Here we have your fear, but things are going to shift for you, because as you transform, you are going to fly high and others are going to be inspired by you. What is your job as a Leo rising? Your job is to be a leader. That's who you are, and to come from your heart, to have courage about, what you want to experience. You don't have to be perfect at it. So what if you fall down? You'll get back up, because here Astera is saying to reach for the stars with your dreams and desires. And there's the Love card. And I don't think this is about loving other people. I think this is about loving yourself. This last week or so, I would say to Lucky, I'm in such a good mood. I don't know why I'm in a good mood. I'm just in a good mood. Congratulations, Jenny G. I'm so excited. That is so exciting. Congratulations. Sending so much love to you on this new venture. And are you a Leo as well? Because that would be so interesting that you got married this last week as Pluto changed signs, you're changing status, because this is where I'm going. I really believe for my Leos that there's something fun and exciting. There's out of nowhere, something could happen. A lightning strikes and you're like, oh my gosh. And it may unleash you from things that you have thought, because here, I think this is love of yourself, love of like, I'm so excited I did that. I'm so excited I was brave. I'm so excited that I didn't know, wasn't sure, but I stood in my truth. And if I build it, they will come. So I think that's what's happening. So those of you that have, social media accounts and you've been fearful of your own, way of doing things, maybe you've been holding yourself back, and there's a lot of people out there waiting to experience you. So give it a shot. Be brave. Oh, I know. I'll probably get in trouble from some Leos, but I do think my Leos are loving me right now. So I'll be okay. And you'll be okay. And it's okay, because we're excited. We love to celebrate good news here, because oftentimes we share things that are more challenging. Are we ready for our Virgos? Victory. Victory. This is the Six of Wands. This character has come, he's being celebrated as he comes back into the fold of home, and there is accomplishment attached to it. So let's see where this comes from. Leo rules romance. What better way to interrupt Leo than with a marriage? I love it. All right, Sandy. Virgo moon here. There we go. That explains a lot about why you're responsible and healing and helping those people in your family, or those three people. Let's see what we can do for that. Oh, all right. Our first angel is Grace and Antoinette. They're popping up a lot today. I have my Venus in Virgo and Pluto in Virgo right next to each other. My whole life, all I wanted to do is help people. I was never interested in too much romance. I mean, I had my young years, but as an adult. All right, Virgo. We have Grace and Antoinette. We have Athena, Mystique, and Vanessa. Grace and Antoinette is being joined by the cow. Athena is being joined by the queen. Mystique is being joined by the death card. And Vanessa is being joined by the king. You know, being a Virgo rising, your seventh house is Pisces. This is not just marriage, okay? Everybody kind of looks at the seventh house as marriage partners. It's really, there's a lot more going on in that house. And as a Pisces, it's going to bring a karmic, historic, past life energy to your partnerships, to how you put balance in your partnerships. Are you allowing yourself to express your own creativity? Seventh house Pisces can be super mutable. And if you have a strong partner or a strong energy, as a professional partner, intimate partner, the partnerships within your everyday circle, you could inadvertently become very dutiful in those energies. So this is where I'm going, because I think that somewhere Virgo's having some sort of, how do I want to say it? I don't want to call it an Independence Day or revolution, but I feel like there's some sort of claiming, like I'm almost realizing that I'm being of service to others, but if I don't put myself in the mix, then all I'm really doing is enslaving myself to others. So this is why I think there's victory, because you're nourishing yourself, Miss Sandy Roby. You nourishing yourself and having compassion for yourself is super important, because it energizes you to be there for others. And this is something to demonstrate. And as I'm going to go straight to the fourth position, because my Virgos, it's about having faith that if you take care of you, justice will prevail. That things will be fair, that inadvertently sometimes, and this can happen a lot with children or older parents that, have become childlike, where they expect the focus to be on them. They don't think of the nurturer as needing anything other than to give to them, especially with children. Okay, because in the opportunity, the obstacle is the queen and Athena. Athena is saying to lovingly assert yourself, and the queen is about what you need and receiving what you need. And if you need a break, you need time alone, time away from the caretaking of that other person, that is okay, because they'll figure it out. Mystique says to keep charging ahead, and then the death card doesn't feel like death to me, like the physical body. It feels as if it's a transformation from Virgo, from enslavement to actual service. The service being, when I take care of me, I actually am a better example of how you can take care of you. And I have faith that when I take care of myself and I'm compassionate to myself, that there will be some fairness that's implemented. And I really do think that there's an opportunity for you to feel victorious in this, because again, you're not going to throw the whole bag of work and things that you need to do to somebody else. This is more about you thinking they'll be able to handle it while you self-care. It's so important. Now, let's just talk about Mercury for a second, okay? Because Mercury is your ruling planet as a Virgo rising, and Mercury is conjunct with Chiron today, and they'll be in conversation all week. So you really giving life to the gift is now for me to demonstrate self-care so that other people can take care of themselves. And when you do that, you're proud of yourself. So it might be good for just to give yourself an afternoon off even. So, all right, on to our Libras. Sandy, I can't help when you say I'm trying. I can't help but hear Yoda, try or try not, you know. And I want to offer it this way because sometimes you just have to experience something. And if you've been, 3 people is a lot of people to take care of. 1 person is with dementia is rough. 3 people, that's a lot. So I almost feel as if every once in a while for you to be able to, go to lunch and let your hair down, you'll actually feel more confident is the word. I almost feel like the experience is not, will they be able to take care of themselves? It's more that everything will take care of itself and it won't fall apart and nobody will die and the house won't burn down. And when you experience that and you give yourself those little permissions, and that lets a little bit of air out of your mercurial mind, feeling that I've got to do this. I've got to do this. I've got to do this. If I don't do it, it won't get done. If I don't do it, it won't get done right. Okay. Libra. I'm really on Libra now. All right, here's your card. This guy's Libra all over the place. The King of Swords. It's about justice. It's about fairness. It's about allowing for a blossoming. I can't help but look at the top of this guy's throne is riddled with butterflies, and they're full bloom butterflies. So to me, and also there's an interesting stance. I don't know if you notice his posture is very relaxed. Look at his knees. Look at the hand without the sword. There's no effort in what he is doing. So for my Libras, I want to offer this because I always will think that the tarot, the swords, when I was being taught them, they use the word struggle and strife. They represent problems. They represent not fun things. Well, I realized as I aged that most of the not fun things start in my brain and how I perceive them. So now I think that talking about Libra, we're Libra rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. We know there's a cluster of planets in your 7th house right now. The sun is in your 7th house. Mercury is in your 7th house. Jupiter and Chiron are in your 7th house. This would represent Aries being individualistic in your partnerships, being brave in your partnerships for how you nurture you. Okay. When I get to my Libras, I always want to say 2 me's make a we. But sometimes Libra just goes, no, I just want a we. All right. Welcome, Algo Bello. Here we go. All right, Libra. Our first angel is Isabella saying, yes, the timing is right. Our second angel is Layla talking about connecting with spirit. Francesca's asking you where you're visualizing, what you're desiring. And the final is Isaiah giving birth to new ideas. Well, that would be very Aryan, giving birth to new ideas. This, Aries is passion. It's like this burst of energy. Oh, I got a great idea. Ooh, that's what Aries would do. So here, I really feel like this king is going to, in some ways, let's just see, maybe bring a sense of authority about how you want to birth a new individualistic portion of yourself. Not completely. Hey, Lenora, welcome. All right, Isabella is being joined by the High Priestess. Layla's being joined by the Truth card. Francesca's being joined by the Wealth card. And the Dragon is joining Isaiah. Okay, this is what I want to say for my Libras. And I'm a Libra sun. I'm an Aries rising, so I'm really very Aries. But what I think is going on here is because Aries is your seventh house, and because we have this cluster of planets, including Chiron, representing a wound about being an individual, about feeling alone. I feel as if it's fair and just right now for you to start to give life to your dreams, life to like almost like, I feel as if, let's say that, because I'm not in a partnership at all. And again, seventh house can represent the impressions we have had from a partnership in the past, because I think it's time to move forward in a new way with a new vision for yourself, to be fair to yourself in implementing structures and thoughts that support a evolved version of your individuality within your partnerships, both professional and personal. Because Layla is asking you to talk to God and the angels about your deepest truth. And one of those things may be, I want to be seen as a valuable component here. Oftentimes when I talk about some of the partnership signs, when I talk about Cancer or I talk about Pisces or Libra, I can feel an imbalance in their own genre. Like, I want to love you so much. I want to make you, because you want to be loved that way. And I feel like, this is an important part for you to dig down to the deepest truths of how you love, how you want to feel loved, how you want to feel valued in a partnership. I talk a lot, as you might guess, being, ha ha ha. And as I've gotten more aware of myself, when I'm around others, I try super hard not to talk, to really give them the floor and to listen as an exchange of energy. Because Francesca, in the Angel's Advice, is asking you to focus on what you want and to see yourself as abundant, as growing, as expanding, because you've been willing to talk about your deeper truth. And in doing so, this will give birth to new ideas and situations that will bring a sense of calm, a sense of ebb and flow. They talk about Libra representing harmony and balance as well. Well, harmony and balance is not about everything being flat. It's more about being flexible and understanding that this light serves the dark sometimes, and that dark isn't always dark. It just may feel dark in that moment because it's erupting something that was out of balance. So Libra, it's a great time to start to give life to some things that you want to birth, some new ideas based on a whole, like almost want to say like wiping the slate clean, not really trying to look at what's been over here, what's behind me, and try to build on that, but rather, if indeed you want to build on the framework of an old idea, great. But maybe it's time to give life to new ideas or new versions of partnerships. Okay. See, that's perfect. You getting away for a little time, that's perfect, because I can feel in your heart that you want to be there and help them, Sandy. But you're not an endless machine that you need to refuel the tank, especially as a Virgo, because you'll just tend to. You sometimes Virgo energy, it's like, I can't go to sleep until the dishes are done. I need to make sure everything's in order. And I'm like that. I'm very much like that. I don't like leaving dishes in the sink. When I wake up in the middle of the night and get a glass of water and I come in the kitchen, I like the sink to be clean. So I'm like that. But there's just something, every once in a while, we just got to let our hair down and trust the universe to take care of things while we replenish. Okay, on to our Scorpios. Scorpio. This is a card, the Two of Swords is a card of precarious balance. It also has a Libra energy to it. So I feel as if, because when you look at this, the swords look at how they're so big, they don't even fit in the picture. This energy, what's going on in Scorpio back and forth is so huge that they can barely hold it up. They have to remain in this position. Otherwise, something's going to flop. And they almost can't look at how hard this is. And I want to offer this too, because the South Node, as we know, has been going through Scorpio. And while it's considered an erosive energy, it's where toxic energy is released. It's where things get let go. I don't particularly like that phrase, but oftentimes the human builds things in a way that unconsciously they're like, oh, maybe this will help me here. And I mean it in such a way where sometimes we hold ourselves small. And of all the signs of the zodiac, For a Scorpio to hold themselves small is almost like a crime against nature, okay? Because you are the most in tune to the depths of the human psychological experience. You are the one that rules the intimacy of not just two people coming together and having sex, but intimate sex, like as I said before, that Kama Sutra, that like deep, experience. So what I think when I look at this Two of Swords is there's something going on that is creating a dynamic between something you want and something you don't want. And there may be a large component in the middle, like one coin, two sides. Maybe you're in a relationship and you like some things about somebody, and yet there's other things that really drive you crazy, and you're trying to make a decision. Let's see where we're going. Because I think that the South Node has asked me to be egoless. That's how I look at it. That's where the erosion comes from. Have I built structures that were really out of balance? And as the universe and myself co-create the erosion of those relationships, is it because I'm falling apart, or am I about to rise to a new level of vibration and bring in more balance? That's where I think I'm going. Thank you, Sandy. I'm so glad. That's my biggest dream in life, is to help people feel more at ease in this experience and feel more power in their in what's happening, because that's all we have is our mind. Archangel Gabriel is all about your mind, Scorpio. Here we go. Chantal, there's love. There's Bethany, self-care. And there's Aurora. Okay. This could be, so my Scorpios are contemplating relationships with other people and unsure what to do. Let's see. Archangel Gabriel and the Lady of the Lake. Chantal and the Queen. Bethany and Baird. Aurora and the Earth Fairy. All right, my Scorpios, I love you. I got to tell you, I am really a fan of Capricorn. I'm a fan of the more, everybody get called the planets the malefics. I'm like, no, they're your friends. Saturn and Pluto are two of the planets that I think are like really the most intriguing to me. So when I look at this for Scorpio, I feel as if you really are going through something between your head and your heart, and you're fighting yourself. And there's a part of you that may want to purport a habitual behavior, but it doesn't serve you. Like, I really want to be pissed at this person, but I know if I'm being pissed at them, it's really not being fair. This could be what's going on with this Libra energy here, because Archangel Gabriel is about your thoughts, about really, turning your insecurities over to her, about what you're capable of. And the Lady of the Lake is all about a fight between my emotional body, my head, what it's telling me, and Excalibur, the truth in between. So I think for my Scorpios, this may be a time, especially with Venus being so, having such a close conversation with Uranus this week. And then we have this whole cluster with Mercury, Jupiter, and Chiron hanging out together. What do you believe? Are you exasperating your wound? Are you focused in on it? Are you willing to liberate yourself? Because when I look at the Queen and I look at Chantal, it makes me feel as if this really is not what's happening, but what you want. Again, Scorpio rules the most, like, I want to crawl into your body and be under your skin in a relationship. Virgo isn't necessarily like that. I'm a Libra, but I'm an Aries rising and a Venus in Virgo. I like a lot of independence in relationships. And while Scorpio wants a sense of their self, they also want to receive love in a way that makes them feel very valuable to their partner. Now, I want to offer this, because in the Angel's Advice is the self-care card of Bethany. Now, the Baird is about my history, yes. But it's also the enchantment of storytelling. It rules music and poetry. Yeah, music and poetry. So I think it's time for Scorpio maybe to tell a new story. Maybe you've been, in the fixed signs, and my Taurus moon is fixed. I can hook into something, and I can be absolutely right about the situation and absolutely wrong about purporting it and having it trip me up, because I want somebody else to apologize before I can move on. that might not be true. Okay. I have to give myself permission to self-care and start to tell a new story where I receive the value, I receive the love I want. Because Aurora is saying you're flying high right now. Don't descend, that you'll soon inspire others, because you have an opportunity to create a new foundation with which to base your love life on. If you are currently in a relationship, this is an opportunity to get to deeper levels of your truth within the relationship and to take responsibility and accountability for how you're taking care of yourself in a relationship, versus pointing your finger at somebody else. If indeed you're not in a relationship and you want to be in a relationship, then I think that what this spread is saying is that try to stay out of the past of what's happened before and give yourself permission to tell this new story where you win the way you want to win. And I want to say this, because you're watching astrology right now, it wouldn't be so bad to ask any potential partners for their chart before you endeavor moving forward. I plan on doing that in the future with all my partnerships, because I think it helps. We're all going to have squares and trines in our synastry chart, but sometimes there's things that are just very hard to work through. Okay, on to our Sagittariuses. I agree, posted up. And what an eloquent way to say that. I love that. That should be like on a poster somewhere. I did a meditation the other day, and one of the lines, I was automatic writing, and one of the lines that came through was that the transits that we're walking through are not meant to test or teach us anything. And I loved that, because the universe is truly benign. The universe is truly very much like a computer. You get what you type into the address bar. That's why I tend to harp on your focus of your thought, and I tend to focus on focus a lot. All right, Sagittarius, let's look at your Ace of Pentacles. This is beautiful. I love this card because the first thing I always see is my little secret garden. I see myself on the path. I see myself meandering down to a place that feels magical to me. And Spirit is saying, yes, we're rooting in magical experiences. Now, this won't be for everybody, because the earth plane is a series of contrasting experiences that help us define how we want to move forward. So as we focus in on our own secret garden, it doesn't mean we have to experience tremendous disruption, but we may inadvertently represent disruption for others. Because as a Sagittarius, you're always going to be more broad in your thought. You're always going to be more open to the diversity on the planet. And you're always going to seek like the biggest, ideologies and philosophies. You also rule the judicial system, publishing, and media. So there could be something coming up with some of your social media that starts to expand. Let's look and see. Your ruling planet is in Aries right now. So it's about birthing something for yourself. And it's at the Leo degree today for the next couple of days. Oh, perfect, Stephen. Did I inspire you when I tell you I had to clean my dishes before I go to bed? Okay. Sagittarius, our first angel is Archangel Uriel. The second is Seraphina. The third is the Patience card and Archangel Gabriel. Archangel Uriel is being joined by the Mystery card. Seraphina is being joined by the Perception card. Patience is being joined by the Forgiveness card. And the Lady of the Lake is joining Archangel Gabriel. I want to offer it this way, because when I look at this and I think about your ruling planet having been in Aries for such for quite some time now, and within that journey in Aries, Jupiter also moved back into Pisces for a bit. having conversations with Neptune. And I think this has made Sagittarius want to birth a real authentic version of themselves, maybe even more creative version of themselves. Now, once you've got the idea, there may be a sense of frustration as things are moving forward, and they may not be moving forward fast enough, or because I feel like when I look at Archangel Uriel and the mystery card, I feel as if there's frustration, but the frustration feels like Spirit is saying, are you choosing to be frustrated? Because as Sagittarius is a broad thinker, sometimes you get to know that the universe is working out things for you that you can't see right now. Because when I look at this, there could be the potential that family members, all right, I hope, Stephen, I hope you don't mind, but I'm just going to, you mentioned earlier that you're going to be doing some astrology charts and you're going to be opening up that part of your work. Those of us that do these sort of off-center jobs, some of our families think we're a little odd. I remember Ksenia, when she was first on Lada's channel, she had her family think that her astrology work was against their religion. So here I have the perception card, and I have Serafina talking about happy families, and here I have frustration and choice. So I think there's the potential that as Sagittarius moseys down the lane into the secret garden of their dreams and their creativity, that they could be a little off center from the people around them, and it may make you have trepidation. But I want to offer this, because as you have patience and you observe yourself, you will reconcile the experience that as you demonstrate the excitement and the exhilaration of diversity and what it has to offer the mind and the spawning of ideas, I think you're going to start to get more and more courageous about this journey of yourself, really individualizing your hopes, your desires, your dreams, and whatever lane they're in. It's all about you, because here's the Lady of the Lake asking you to have asking you to have the courage to really walk through the storm of your own deeper truth, because there's something creative inside of you, Sagittarius. Archangel Gabriel on the face of this card says, you have an important life purpose involving communication and the arts. Please don't allow insecurities to hold you back. I will help you. And this is exactly what I think is going on. Because I want to offer it this way, many of the astrological dynamics that were going on through 2022 were about removing old structures. It was the demolition of the house of our minds, and it has been jarring. And frankly, it started probably in 2019, but we didn't know it until 2020, etc. So I want to offer this. There's a new beginning starting for you, and an opportunity to ground your dreams as you continue to move forward. Just one little step at a time. All right. I feel kind of lucky because my grandma did astrology. So nobody ever got weird about stuff like that. Even my grandfather didn't care that my grandma did astrology. And that was like 1970 something, when you still had to like calculate it with your own mind, and there was no programs to plug in. Okay, Capricorn and my goats. I got to tell you guys, okay, you Capricorns, every time I'm on TikTok and I see dancing goats, I wish I could somehow, like on a live on Sunday, just pop those goats up on the screen so you can see them dancing and prancing, because this is what Pluto's been doing for you as it's moved through your first house. And now, as your ruling planet has moved into Pisces, I think there's an opportunity for the Capricorns to get creative in their own way, however creativity looks for you. Let's see what the tarot card is. All right. The Five of Wands. Now, when I was learning the tarot, they used to call this competition. I look at this card and I don't see competition, because these guys are awkward. They're all holding their swords in the most awkward way. They're not really even facing each other. We've got this guy in the blue tunic. His is coming up this way. This guy in the back is holding it over his shoulder. This guy over here is up here. It just feels awkward all over the place to me. So there could be the potential, because the wands represent fire and they represent creativity, all the fire signs. You may actually feel a sense of awkwardness of you as you've discovered through Pluto's transits that you want more things from yourself, not just to build material wealth, but to build fulfillment as well. So there could be something going on because, again, while Pluto's moved into Aquarius, if you're a late degree Capricorn, you're going to feel Pluto's still, offering you opportunities for renovation, as well as all the other signs that oppose it or square it. Okay, here we go. Capricorn. Rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Vanessa is our first angel for Capricorn. Oceana is the second. Our third is Maya. And the final is Seraphina. Since I was a little kid, I've always thought the continent of Africa was intriguing. I loved, there was a lioness movie. The lioness was Elsa, Born Free. Do you guys remember that movie, Born Free? Oh my gosh. I swear I loved that movie. Okay. Vanessa is being joined by the Letting Go card. Oceana is being joined by the Joy card. Maya is being joined by the Horse. And Seraphina is being joined by the Love card. Okay, this is what I want to say for my Capricorns. Right now, I believe you've been going through a transformation. And in some ways, while Capricorn represents, the 10th house, the most public house, everybody sees what you're doing, what you're building. We call you a leader. We look at you to represent government and authority. And I feel like Capricorn is rewriting itself. It's like starting to put less of the duty and obligation and starting to be like, what do I like? How do I want to focus myself in a lane that I can enjoy and serve others at the same time? And it may be awkward for you at first while you find your creative inspirations. You may feel like you're going this way or that way because Vanessa is about faith. And then this letting go card is, you guys know, this is Let It Go from the movie Frozen. So it's funny how some distance makes everything look small and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. This is where you're standing, Capricorn, because your opportunity is to find joy in the things that you do on an emotional level and to continue to swim towards the things that make you feel vital and feel excited, because you're learning a lot right now about your own self and about your beliefs and what it's like to move in a new direction. This Horse, to me, it's Sagittarian in some ways, but when I take it, there's so many things I can look at the Horse as representing. First of all, it's an animal of prey, so it's extremely sensitive and intuitive. It's also the Horse was the first opportunity for man to be mobile. It's where man could actually move forward, move more than just on his feet. And we know that the Native American used the horse in hunting, and so many things. So what I think is going on is you're learning how you're going in a new direction, how you're giving yourself an opportunity to move in new ways from the old goat to the happy goat is going to create not only more joy, excitement, and love for you, but for yourself, because there's the Love card and there's the happy family. Every single significant boyfriend that I ever had was a Capricorn. And well, I have to laugh because I'm a strong personality. And sometimes there's two leaders banging up against each other. But now at the same time, I also feel like Capricorn is now starting to represent balance between, what we feel is viable to create safety and structure within our human existence, and then also being able to give as much life to what is enjoyable and what expresses our creativity and our talents. And I think that while you're standing a little bit in an awkward energy right now, still figuring that out, I feel like at any time now it's just going to click into place, and then sky's the limit. All right, let's go on to our Aquariuses. Sun and moon in Capricorn. I think that is a wonderful thing because, people will see you as a leader. Emotionally, you feel like a leader. And then when you give yourself permission to think of the baby goat as your best leadership, that you cannot, I don't know one person who can look at a baby goat having fun and hold a straight face. I don't know. Maybe if you're out there, let me know. All right, Aquarius. We have the King of Wands. Oh, wow. There's so many. This is so wonderful because it's really like I see the little lizard here, whatever. It's little, I guess it could be a gecko. Okay. And I feel like I'm going to refer to it as a lizard because I feel as if Aquarius, if you're worried right now as Pluto moves into your first house, you're not going to lose your tail. Lizards' tails grow back, but it's also an opportunity for real innovation to establish and be the master of new beliefs for yourself. This is very Sagittarian as well. It's also very Aquarian, very Aries and very Leo. It's the king of fire. And I think on some level, you can see that sort of what looks like a skull around his neck. It's not quite a skull, but to me, it feels like it's adopting the Native Americans, as well as I believe the Aborigines in Australia, as they evolve in life, they change their names. They adapt they adapt a new name that reflects their evolution. And I feel like something's going on with Aquarius where there's not a death literally, but maybe an old version of yourself is taking a back seat and there's a new version of yourself coming forward. They look very much like they do have a bit of that little bit of fire. They also feel a little bit like the leaves as well, but he's not looking at what's happening. He's looking out somewhere else and we can't tell where that is. And that feels very Aquarian to me. So let's see. Does that mean you're leaving us, Small? I'm going to start to try to put chapters into you guys. Once I know, thank you for the timestamps. Once the timestamps are in, I've got that new program so I can do chapters. So you'll find your stuff quicker. All right. For my Aquariuses, we have Indriel just flew out of the deck. Then we have Bridget. Then we have Mystique and Azure. Got it. All right. Indriel is being joined by the Truth card. Bridget's being joined by the Deer. Mystique is being joined by the Eagle. And Azure is being joined by the Focus card. All right. So this is what I want to say because when it comes to my Aquariuses, I think you're going to really start to feel a restlessness and an urging for new experiences, new dynamics, all the things that Uranus represents. Pluto is going to be digging deep down into your heart of that genius, of that brilliance, of that outside of the box thinking. And I feel as if Indriel, the light worker, is when I see this, I just can't help but notice this glowing around her head. And there's the Truth card. And I feel like if the Zodiac did not have the sign of Aquarius, we would be in a really scary place because there would be no innovation. There'd be no movement forward. There'd be no evolution. So to me, I feel like when I'm talking about Aquarius, I have to be inspired and passionate about looking at myself from a new perception, not looking to the crowd to applaud me, because the truth is I'm the leader and the innovator. Because Bridget is asking you to look deeper into where you may have trepidation and fear in other people's response to you. And this may be short-sighted in some way, because when I get to the final position, I feel as if a lot of your innovative ideas and your innovative creative endeavors, other people will find resonance with, because Mystique is saying to keep charging ahead. And then the eagle here, it represents the connection to the angelic realm, but it also represents integrity. And I think that's what we'll see, is an integrity for your truth that resonates with others, whether they believe in your truth or not. Because the final position is Azure, saying your desired outcome will happen in the near future. Have patience and faith. And then there's the focus card. So this is where I'm going with this. If your truth is to birth something of yourself that nobody else understands, that's okay, because eventually they'll get it. I was telling a client the other day that as my practice has grown, initially it was just the readings, and I kind of didn't really do the astrology. And I do believe there was a divine timing of me re-engaging in astrology, because if I would have known my own Pluto transits, I would have been scared, and I might have been holding myself back because I was fearful. Now I feel the transformation of Pluto, and I feel as if this is all for my highest and greatest good. And as I am willing to walk through that transformation, there'll be others that feel brave in their own transformation. And that's what I think this Azure is talking about, and focus. That somehow your focus on the renovated version of yourself, you become a teacher. This is a teacher energy when we look at it from the Sagittarian point of view, the shaman, And the other thing too is that, and I always kind of forget about this about Sagittarius, but it rules publishing and media. So there's the potential that down the line, a lot of your endeavors could be broadened for a larger audience to see or read about. Okay, let's go to our final sign, Pisces. We haven't done the natural zodiac in a long time. Meaning started at Aries and finished at Pisces, because we always want to start on the birthday month now. All right, here we go. And our final Pisces. This is the Four of Cups. Now, I want to offer this to you because Pisces, with Saturn initially moving into your first house, it may be it may have a dampening feeling. It's kind of like you're at the club. It's almost 2:00 in the morning. You're boogieing, and then someone flips the lights on. Everybody out. Okay, it's the man is spoken. Because here, when I look at this Four of Cups, I'm focusing on something that's not making me happy, and God is trying to give me something that is happy. So if Saturn is bringing in a realistic point of view in how you've been showing up, if on some level you've been overlooking, it's no Pisces and Pisces. That's fun. And pieces. That's funny, Stephen. I want to offer it this way. One of the challenging sides of Pisces is the self-deception. The house itself is known as the house of self-undoing, the house of troubles. And it's because we don't want to see some of the more challenging sides of people and how they show up and who they are. And if for some reason you've experienced an erosion in something and you're hurt and you're feeling like things aren't working out for me, you could very well be being saved because there's a better experience on its way for you. So let's see where Saturn is asking you to be more realistic about your own particular needs. Pisces' first house is about you being able to be your imaginative, creative self without feeling the tethering to the mutable energy, in the sense I have to be there for somebody else. Because if you think about the mutableness of Pisces, the commingling of the fish, and then the first house, there's a big counterintuitive feel to it. But at the same time, as we become more connected to the idea that the health of my well-being, my excitement for life is helping to contribute to my relationships in general. So here we go. Pisces, Maya is the angel of schooling and education. Chantal is the angel of romance. Archangel Michael is protection and courage. And Bridget's asking you to look deeper. Pisces, if you're in a crappy relationship, the spirit's asking you to really pay attention. I don't know if you're all in crappy relationships, but if your needs aren't being met, and this is not a call for a breakup, this is a call in some ways for a reflective energy that's like, what do I really need? What do I really need? Enjoy Walmart. It's always kind of fun to meander through the aisles. Okay. Maya, Pisces, is being joined by the Fire Fairy. Chantal is being joined by the Love card. Archangel Michael is being joined by the Protection card. And Bridget is being joined by the Owl. All right, I'm going to say it straight up. This is about romance and I want to offer it this way. It's also about what you love. Because if for some reason you're in a situation that is not, look, everything ebbs and flows. There's no one person who's going to fulfill every need that you have. That's pretty much our own job, but they can complement us. And I think that this is really, you're getting a schooling and education about passion, about, not only, this is kind of where I'm going, because there's a duality in the Pisces energy that's very couple oriented and very creative and imaginative. So when you connect to your own creativity and imagination and use that actually in a creative endeavor versus using it as I have a lot of trepidation that my Pisces might be being overly compassionate and empathetic in relationships with others. And if you're doing so, then there's something that's not being fulfilled within you, because the opportunity is to truly feel love. This is Chantal talking about romantic love. There's the Love card. Here's Archangel Michael representing protection and courage. And there's the Protection card. So if you're in a relationship where something is moving away, where Saturn's brought restriction to your relationship or brought an erosion to your relationship, then there's something bigger coming up. And it doesn't mean that relationship can't have a 2.0 version. But if we continue to do the same thing and expect a different result, it won't happen. Because Bridget is really asking you to look deeper into the duality of the situation, the good news and the bad news. And this is where the education comes from. And, it's asking, am I being overly optimistic about somebody who's patterning out in a way that, the percentages aren't working? So this is how I think of it. People's behavior is like a pie, just like the Zodiac. Are they spending, 3/4 of their time happy and feeling, moving their story forward? Or do they spend 3/4 of their time angry and upset and seeing the dark side of life? Because whoever you choose as a partner, you live in that energy. So I think that's what Spirit's looking at. Where are you focused on one thing that is not satisfying you? And if it's disrupting, if for some reason it's feeling a little chaotic, maybe Spirit is handing you a gift that you normally wouldn't think is a gift. But if you look deeper and you're more willing to be courageous about your own personal wants and needs, you may be like, wow, that other energy isn't bad, but it's really not serving us both, because there is something to look deeper into, and there's something to learn from a spiritual point of view. And when I use the word spiritual, this is not something that I'm not interactive with. To me, spirituality is a co-creation. It's where I'm willing to look at the universe as a component to what I experience, not all of what I experience. The universe is not assigning me these experiences. I am co-creating them through my thought. My thought then, anchors into a belief, and I take my actions based on that belief. So if you believe that things have not been working out, that your cups aren't being filled, then the disgruntled energy is alerting you that there's something more that you want and need, and now is a time to claim it. I really believe that Saturn's entry into Pisces is about mastering our spirituality, mastering our accountability, mastering the energies that entitle or that, keyword this house as the house of self-undoing. Saturn is going to help you stop undoing that. All right. I think I made sense. I hope I made sense. All right, guys, I've been playing a lot with thumbnails and descriptions. So if you see things on my channel moving around, it's just me trying to figure out, how all this works. So pay patient with me there. I have discovered that your views and your likes are what's most important for moving the channels forward. So I appreciate all those likes and all your views. And I will be back next Sunday. This next week, I will be producing the April monthlies. So be on the lookout for that. And be sure to hit the notification bell because I'm getting ideas all the time about things I want to talk about. One of them is void of course moon. I'm going to do a quick brief one on that as well because we don't talk about that and it happens all the time. And it's a little like Mercury retrograde. Anyway, all right, guys, thanks so much. I'm sending big love to you all. And I want you to know that I really do sit in meditation and I send you all energy that your lives will start to reflect the deepest truth of your heart and your happiness. All right, guys, peace out. See you next Sunday.